Today we're going to use this simulation called Simbucket, and don't worry, the link will be in the assignment that you're about to do. But what Simbucket will let you do is it will let you measure the density of objects. So you can imagine we could come over here and we could weigh it, and then we could use that volume displacement technique that we learned yesterday or in the previous assignment to help us figure out the volume. So the first thing I want you to do when you get in here before you do anything else is click Turn Fluid to Water. You may notice not a lot changed except for my little slider over here went away. And I'll show you why that's important in a little bit. And maybe we'll do gold as our first example. Now you're going to do what I'm about to show you, you're going to do to all the rest of these. So I want you to grab the gold and weigh it. And we need someplace to write down that weight. Now I want you to get a piece of paper out because you're going to turn in this piece of paper. So I want you to keep it nice and neat. Like you're going to say, let's say, that's not very good. Let me go backwards. You're going to say gold. Have a nice little section labeled gold, and you don't have to do this one because we're going to do it together. But you'll do it with lead and iron and wood. And I want you to write down its mass, right? So its mass is 40.53 grams. I want you to write down its volume. And remember, volume's a little harder. If it was a liquid, we'd just pour it into a graduated cylinder and get that. But the volume, in order to do this, you're going to need to record the volume beforehand, which is 25.5, and the volume afterwards, which is 27.6. See if I can remember those two numbers. I think it was 27.6 minus 25.5 milliliters. I think that was right. I might have to double check real quick. Let's see if I was right. Yep, 25.5. Okay, so now we know that our volume will be the difference between those two, which looks to me like, well, let me bust out my calculator, right? 27.6 minus 25.5, and I get a volume of 2.1 milliliters for the volume of that piece of gold. Now if I want to calculate the density, I do mass divided by volume, so I'm going to have 40.53 grams divided by 2.1 milliliters. And my density for my gold is 40.53 divided by 2.1 equals 19.3 grams per milliliter. Okay? So that's my density. So that's what you're going to do for all the other substances. Now, before you go do it, one more thing. Why did I ask you to click Turn Fluid to Water first? The reason is 1 gram per milliliter here is the density of water. And did you see that our calculated value for gold was 19.3 grams per milliliter? Well, this is more dense than water. Water is only 1 gram per mil. And do you see how gold sinks? So I want you to make a note here. I want you to make a note, it sunk or it sinks. And make a little note to yourself to see if that makes sense. It's heavier than, or more dense than water, and therefore it sinks. That makes a lot of sense. And so once you do one, I want you to make a dividing line and go down and do the next one. Your job will be to do lead next, and I want mass, volume, and then the density calculation, and then does it sink or float? And see if it makes sense to you. If we were to grab wood, you see how wood floats? So already we're making a prediction that the density is less than 1 gram per mil. That's why it floats. So if your calculation doesn't come out right, you'll know that. Okay? All right, I want you to go do all the rest, including this mystery one right here. Calculate all of them on a paper showing the work just like I did, and then you're going to upload that work into Schoology in the assignment.